Good morning, good morning. I'm Reverend Karen Einhaus. I'm the spiritual leader of this amazing, expanding, thriving, rippling out into the world. Thank you very much, Reverend Jeff. Ministry, right? We can feel it here. I feel it every day, every moment. And I will speak to the talk that I have prepared and that has been advertised, the circulation and wild strawberries. I will talk about that, but before I do that, I want to take a moment and address what is going on out there in the world. For those of you who listen to the audio of this talk, maybe while you're driving or while you are walking in the desert, I used the quotation marks when I said out there. Because, beloveds, as someone who studies this teaching, as someone who says New Vision Center is my spiritual home, the science of mind is the philosophy that I strive to live by, any one of the new thought philosophies. When we do that, we acknowledge that we believe in this concept called oneness. And this is where I want us all to take a breath. It is a tenet of this teaching that there truly is no out there, but that it is all within the one. And sometimes when I watch the news, I remind myself of that. And there are moments where I can see through any kerfuffle, any challenge, any hardship, any conflict, any horrific thing I see. And I can come to a place where I feel that it is for the betterment of humanity, that we have to go through this chaos, the breaking down of things that no longer work, so that we can rise. Because I have experienced it in my own life. I know this. And yet seeing it played out in humanity, in this world, sometimes my sadness is so big, I just want to curl under a blanket. Or my anger rises, and I want to do something. Just tell me what to do to make it stop. And then comes the helplessness, because I understand it is not about that. It is about changing something within me. And so I've been looking this week particularly for, a third way. How else can I be with this? And I am teaching the foundations class and reading our wonderful textbook. What comes up for me is this idea of free will. Of free will. So the question is, can I use my free will to further my spiritual evolution, even in the midst of this? And what do I mean by free will? If you have studied at all the science of mind, you know that Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, has pulled out of all different faith traditions this idea that we have volition. Those of you who read the Science of Mind textbook, we just had it in the reading yesterday. Volition. We have volition. What does that mean? That means that what I think, what I do, is not based on a reaction of what I see out there, but I can choose to react differently. And what do I need to do in order to have that free will? Well, I have to be very curious of what is within me that gets in the way, that makes me feel that I don't have free will. And then what is this idea of a spiritual evolution. Well, the spiritual evolution that I hope that we are all on is to not just say these things, to not just sing, I am one in the one, but to make decisions from that place. Every moment before we have an interaction with one another, to remind ourselves, we are all one. We are all trying to get back to that visceral knowing, to the faith that is so deep within, that even when I see challenges close by, in the community, in the world, I can know that it is for the highest and best, even if I can't see it. And so my role as a minister here is to be there for all of you when you come to a point where you can't see it. Don't come to me and ask me what you need to do, but come and find out, how can I think about this differently? How can I be a change in this moment in time that is full of energy for newness? I just wanted to say that. And I am so happy that today's talk fits perfectly in that. So we're going to walk it out together. As you know, we are studying this book, Braiding Sweetgrass, by Robin Wall Kimmerer. And that is where this idea of wild strawberries is coming from. But before we go there, I would love for us to anchor into this quote by Dr. Ernest Holmes. Because you see, the law of circulation is central to our teaching. It teaches that giving and receiving are inseparable aspects of spiritual living. And so Dr. Ernest Holmes says it this way: it is only as we allow the divine current to flow through us and on and out that we really express life. The law of giving and receiving is definite. And I want us to keep the slide up for a moment, and I invite every person here in the room, everyone online, to take a look at the slide and let me know, do you see the law of circulation in this slide? And we are a group of, 120 people here, maybe? You can just say it out loud, what you see. If you see the law of circulation. Yes. Great. Yes is a good answer. I like that. Any one of those who said yes, where do you see it? Sun is shining on everyone. If you read our newsletter, you wrote that one of my favorite Hafez quotes, right? After all this time, the sun has never said to the earth, you owe me. You owe me. Look what is possible with a love like that. Yes, the sunshine. What else do we see? Where else do we see the law of circulation? Nature, the trees. Yes, we see it in the trees. We know, if we remember from biology, the good that trees do for us. I also see it in the softness of the decayed trees and leaves and needles that we walk on when we walk through the woods. Those trees who have been there thousands of years before and who have died. And they transformed and we get to walk on that very, very soft, healing ground. And this is really the essence of what I want to talk about today. The law of circulation is taking place everywhere all the time. Right now, we are fully in it. And what this teaching invites us into is to become aware of it, to raise our awareness. And this month, we are looking at the Potawatomi tribe, and specifically this woman, Robin Wall Kimmerer, who has written this great book. She is a botanist, and she is a lover of the land, as she says, and it comes through in every one of her words. And I want to read a little excerpt of it about these wild strawberries. It's called The Gift of Strawberries. And the robin in this story is the author. In a way, Robin was raised by strawberries. Even in the richness of trees and flowers of upstate New York, it was the wild strawberries that gave Robin her sense of place. After the school bus dropped her home, she rushed out to the fields around the house to look for the patches of white flowers with yellow centers dotting the fields in May. All through June, the children would keep watch over the strawberry plants as the petals dropped, and then as little green nubs appeared. They were sour, but they ate them anyway, impatient for the real thing. Robin could smell the ripe strawberries before she saw them. She lay on her stomach in her favorite patches, searching for only the reddest of the red, leaving the pink ones for tomorrow. Her father loved wild strawberries, so for every Father's Day, her mother would almost always make him strawberry shortcake. Mother baked the crusty shortcakes and whipped the heavy cream, but the kids were responsible for gathering the tiny wild berries. Dad thought wild strawberry shortcake was the best present ever, a gift that could never be bought. A gift that could never be bought. I love reading this book because I am learning about a different tradition, one that I never heard about before, and one that has very different ways of looking at giving and receiving, as we talk about today. Now, the Potawatomi tribe also recognizes the law of circulation as a fundamental part of spiritual living, of living in harmony with the earth. And they're taking it a step further. In their economy, it is a gift economy. It is the belief that if something is being sold that comes from the earth, that it loses its sacredness. That is why sweet grass that is being used in First Nations celebrations and in medicine, it has to be passed on from one to another without the exchange of money. I found that very interesting. And so while she grew up, there was a field, a commercial strawberry field, just down the road. But those were two very different things. The wild strawberries that were given as nature gives, as life gives, kind of what we looked at the slide, right? To notice where's that generous giving of Mother Nature. And then there is something very different that is the commercial side of it, where somebody raises the strawberries and then they get sold. Now, in our teaching, we don't have that, right? We don't believe that just because something has an exchange of money attached to it, that it loses its sacredness. Quite the opposite for me. For me, I recognize that exchange as just energy. It's just an exchange of energy of different forms. And so I was interested in a little bit more about, well, what is important in our teaching about giving and receiving? Well, in the giving, it's always, always so important to me that the intention is given with it, that the purity of the gift is offered with it. And I came across this quote in a poem that was written 200 years ago, and it speaks to that. See if you can feel the difference. Not what we give, but what we share, for the gift without the giver is bare. Think about a time recently. We're just done with a big giving season, right? The holiday season. Think about it. Were there moments where you could feel absolutely that this gift I'm giving comes with me? I'm giving of myself, my intention, my love for that person. Yeah. And then also, think about when you received a gift. Do you ever feel a difference in receiving a gift? If it is whatever qualifier you use there. If you feel like there are no strings attached, it is coming from the other person's heart. Actually, the other person is part of the gift. I so feel that. I can feel, I'm putting the hand of this beautiful hummingbird I'm wearing, right? It's been a very special gift. And I can feel it way beyond looking at the beauty of it. I can feel the love and the care and the thoughtfulness and the purity of the person who gave that to me. That is, I believe, is important for us to lean into. At every moment, every day, we are in the law of circulation. What can we do? How can I shift a little bit if I give as the strawberries give? If I give with my whole heart, with my whole intention. And this doesn't have to be a big gift. It can be a smile, a hello, it's nice to see you, a connection. It can be anything. What I want us to become so clear on is that it starts with me. It starts with us. Every week we like to offer something for you to take home with you to practice this week. And so I thought about that. What could be a good way to practice this? Well, one of the ways to do that is to ask ourselves a couple of questions. I wrote them down and I will find them, I promise. Yeah, maybe not. So the questions are, before every interaction, ask yourself, what is it that I want to give? What do I want to give in this interaction? And then just listen. If you find that you are one that does not easily open up to give, perhaps this is the week to change that a little bit and ask yourself, how would it look if I give as freely as Mother Nature does, as freely as the sun, as freely as the wild strawberries? And then listen. Listen to what comes up for you. For this teaching, beloveds, is a teaching, we call it a teaching of personal empowerment. And that is what it is. We have to go through, we have to allow ourselves to go through this spiritual transformation to see the world the way Dr. Ernest Holmes saw it. For us to be able to access that power that is greater than we are, we have to allow ourselves to be immersed in it. We have to make decisions from that point. Let's take a breath, recognizing that this work is upon us and that we have said yes to it. I want to take us straight into prayer. And so let's breathe into this space, just finding yourself right where you are. Perhaps images or thoughts come up that want to take you out. And I invite you to gently say on the inside of you, I listen to these words from that place where I know that I know that there's one power, one presence, that the divine is everywhere. There's no place where God is not. There's no place where the vibration of the eternal loving kindness of sweet spirit is not reaching. And so I prepare myself to meet life in this new way. I prepare myself to meet other beloveds, situations that I find challenging. From this place where I know that I'm one in the one. That at the very center of my being is the same loving kindness of the divine, the eternal givingness, the eternal grace. And so I call that forth. And I speak a word for all beloveds who have placed their prayers into our prayer ministry. The assuredness that all prayers are being held in high consciousness. That we don't ever have to walk this path alone. And so as we prepare to answer the call of life, the constant invitation to experience it deeper, we simply say, I am ready. And so there's nothing more to do but to affirm this truth as we place this word into universal law. We let it go, we let it be, we trust its unfoldment completely. And together we say, and so it is.